Hi everyone, today I want to talk to you about one-on-ones. You know, those meetings that can be either a game changer or a complete waste of time. If you're like most managers, you're spending a lot of time in one-on-ones and not all of them are as productive as they could be. Studies show that 65% of team members find that their one-on-ones are a complete waste of time. That's a lot of wasted potential. I think we can agree on that. I'm Christian Erhardt, and over the years I had the privilege of building and leading international teams. And like many of you, I've seen my share of good and not so good meetings. The good news is it's a journey. It can be fixed. You can learn. I did learn over the years. So in this video, I want to share some of my experiences, what worked for me to actually motivate my team, to build trust and to drive real results. So let's start with the basics. What are one-on-one meetings? Simply put, they're a regular check-in between a manager and a team member. And think of them as a dedicated space, a dedicated time to focus on the team member's growth, on alignment on individual goals, team goals, and overall support that the employee, the team member might need. So these one-on-one meetings, they're pretty important for team success, and I'll get into why a bit later. Now, why do some of those one-on-one meetings go off the rails? Well, let me ask you this first. Do you want to be seen as a kindergarten teacher that has to solve all the little problems for your team? Or would you rather manage a team of experts that pitch solutions rather than just coming with problems? Yeah, me too. So if you're aiming for the latter, here are 5 things to avoid in your one-on-one. Number 1, avoid diving straight into the operational details. Take some time at the beginning of the meeting to meet on a human, personal level. This creates trust and sets up the meeting in a completely different tone and dynamic. Number 2, avoid micromanaging or being overly prescriptive. Well, as the saying goes, teach people how to fish rather than giving them the fish. So your guidance, that's very welcome, but let your team members find and develop their own solutions. Number 3, another pitfall is acting like an overprotective parent rather than a manager. So if you're trying to shield your team members from all the harsh realities and the drama that's going on in the organization, that's not going to be helpful. Sometimes navigating those difficult situations is where the learning and the development happens, and your role is to support your team members to get through that. And number 4, using one-on-ones as a means of staying in control. I can understand, but things get tough, but that's often seems easier and faster to just tell people what to do, but it really hurts the dynamic between manager and team member. And finally, taking way too much time talking. So some of you speak more than 70% of the time in your one-on-ones, and if that's you, you should be aiming more towards 40% or less. And remember, your role is to facilitate and not to dictate in one-on-ones. I just had a conversation with a coaching client who told me, I haven't seen my manager for the last 2 months. That's terrible. So how often should you have one-on-one meetings? Rule of thumb is either weekly or bi-weekly. Of course, that depends on your team size and the dynamic of your business, but that's the rule of thumb. And now who should own that meeting? Ideally, your team members should come up with their own agenda. However, you as a manager, you're responsible for creating a consistent space. And, well, you're responsible for showing up. Actually, there is a step that's often overlooked: preparation. It's not just about showing up, it's about showing up ready. So here are a couple things to consider. First, review the action items of your last one-on-one. This shows that you're following through and it keeps momentum going. By the way, MeetGeek is a tool that is super helpful in this context because it can record your one-on-ones, store them privately and securely, even provide meeting templates that allow you to document your one-on-ones, follow up, track progress, and spot trends. Well, another thing that you can do is to come up with thoughtful, open-ended questions that encourage reflection and discussion. And those types of questions are so much more useful than simple yes or no inquiries. And finally, think of any topics that you need your team to know, like changes, messages you need to land, the big picture. So one-on-ones are a great place to keep everyone in the loop. So what does an effective one-on-one look like? Well, there's no magic bullet. Here's a general flow that works well. You can start out with a check-in, and that means a check-in on a human level. What's going on for you right now? A question like this can go a long way. And then the team member provides updates to the progress from the previous one-on-one, including also blockers or achievements. Make sure that you take enough time to celebrate the wins, and when there are challenges, you can brainstorm solutions together. Then if you offer constructive feedback, make sure that you're as specific as possible and be clear in your expectations. Well, expectations are often related to goals and priorities, so also here, make sure that everyone's on the same page and has the information that they need. And finally, at the end of the one-on-one, recap the action items, identify the key takeaways. Also here, clarity is key. Also remember to regularly schedule development one-on-ones that are focused on the team members' strengths, which skills they can still develop further. And I strongly recommend to not mix those development conversations with your regular one-on-ones. Okay, we've covered a lot, but what's the payoff for all this effort? What happens when you actually get those one-on-ones right? Well, the benefits are significant. Let's start with number one. You'll see increased employee retention and engagement. Harvard Business Review found that employees who don't have a regular one-on-one are 4 times more likely to be disengaged, which is a major red flag for potential turnover. The other side, LinkedIn's workplace learning report showed that 94% of employees would stay longer with a company that invests in their career development. And one-on-ones are the perfect place for those career-focused discussions. Then as you shift more responsibilities to your team members, you'll also see faster problem solving, increased productivity, and a better alignment across the team. And last but not least, maybe the most important benefit for you individually, as you delegate tasks and outcomes effectively, your team members will take more accountability and ownership. And that means for you as a manager that you can free up your time to focus on the things that matter to you. So if you're looking forward to not just improve your one-on-ones, but also your team meetings and develop better meeting habits, definitely check out MeetGeek. It can really streamline the whole process. And if you want to dive deeper into how MeetGeek works and can boost your productivity, make sure to check out this video.